What's up, guys? It's been a while since I posted on this channel, so I don't know who's gonna see this, to be honest. But if you don't know, I used to post Fortnite videos on this channel years ago. And I just got kind of bored of the game, as you do. As you do playing too much Fortnite, you can get sick of it after a while. Anyways, today I'm gonna be recapping UFC Vancouver because, I've gone into MMA in the past couple years. It's a really cool sport. It's fun to watch, and it's growing like crazy, more than any other sport in the world. So that's why I want to talk about it, to be honest. So it was an exciting card, I have to say, with some questionable reffing, but let's get into it. I did miss most of the prelims, unfortunately, because there were some nice finishes that I did see after. But I did catch Kyle Perpolik versus Jude Ober, which was actually a banger, I have to say. As a Canadian, I had to root for Perpolik here and the other Canadians on the card. And they definitely came to represent, of course. We came 6-2 if you count Brendan Allen. And he chose to represent us, so I'm counting him. Kyle Perpolik versus Jude Ober. Man, this was a good fight, I have to say. Early on, Perpolik, he looked a bit more flat-footed to me. Jude Ober was bouncing around, explosive. And Jude Ober was landing a lot more of the shots, I have to say. But Perpolik was this guy was doing some crazy damage. He early on broke Dober's nose. It looked like he was bleeding pretty bad. And Perpolik, one thing this guy has is some nice checks, man. He checked the fuck out of one of Dober's kicks. And I can't remember which round it was, but it just split. I think it was the first round. It just split open Dober's shin completely. That shit was nasty. They didn't even bother to clean it up after the round either. It was just covered in blood. I've never seen that before, I can't lie. But, yeah, of course, there was the low blow from Jude Ober. Man, that was bad, I have to say. When they showed the replay, I'm like, damn. This guy didn't even try to go for the leg kick. He went straight for the balls. But, Perpolik took his time. He was obviously in a lot of pain. I think he took almost the 5 minutes, and Jude Ober was just happy to get his rest, man. He was standing there having a good time. They took a point, actually, which might have been a bad thing for Perpolik, because it definitely lit a passion in Jude Ober, and he just straight up went for the kill immediately. He was fully rested, and Perpolik was definitely still feeling that. I'm sure he was. Like I said, Jude Ober went for the kill, got the finish, and yeah, good fight. Next, we had another good fight, Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frivola. And as soon as I saw Kyle Nelson's photo, this guy didn't even bother to shave his belly hair or nothing. I knew this guy was coming. Yo, Nelson starting off, he was kind of on the back foot at first in round one, but he ended up breaking Frivola's nose. That was definitely looking rough. But Nelson ended up catching Frivola right on the temple, rocked him bad. And then he caught him flush on the chin and then dropped him and followed up some vicious ground and pound. And I thought the fight was finished at this point because the referee stopped the fight with 3 seconds left in the round. But I guess he thought the horn went off. He thought the round was over somehow, so they continued. That was a crazy call, man. I don't know how that happened. But round two, Kyle Nelson landed a nice head kick. He was defending the takedowns, He ate a couple head kicks and a big overhand, too. This guy's got a chin on him. Round three, Nelson landed some huge body kicks and head kicks. And he was kind of holding Frivola against the fence for a little bit, landing some shots, nothing crazy. Nelson landed a takedown of his own and took the back of Frivola. Ended up taking mount and falling off to bottom. And it was just kind of a lot of scrambling at this point. Nelson lands another takedown against the fence, landed some big shots to finish it off, and takes a W. Good fight. Next, we had Charles Jourdain versus Davey Grant. And starting off, Jourdain landed a nice Superman punch and a good jab. He was looking quick on his feet, and he's throwing a lot of nice flying knees pretty much right off the bat. Grant landed some nice inside leg kicks, some calf kicks. But then Charles Jourdain landed this huge flying knee right to the face of Davey Grant. Probably broke his nose, to be honest. But, dropped him. Jourdain just jumps this nasty guillotine, super tight, to get the finish in the first round. And he called out Marcus McGee, who recently fought Piotr Yan. And, yeah, I think that'd be a good fight. book it. Then after that, we had Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius, something like that. I'm gonna just call her Jasmine. I actually missed this fight. I'm sorry to say. I did want to watch it. I planned on watching it, but I was downstairs eating a cookie. I literally just went down to microwave the cookie because, I like it fresh, the melted chocolate, when it's fresh out of the oven and then the chocolate's just nice and melted, and it just oozes in your mouth. Pause, but, that's what I'm talking about. So, that's literally what I did. I came back upstairs after microwaving my cookie and the fight was over, so. But I saw the clips, man. Jasmine looked lost. And Chewy on some hot nigga. Next, of course, we had Cheeto Vera versus Amin Zahabi. Pretty close first round. I'd say Cheeto took it, but I guess the judges didn't agree. Round 2, Zahabi got dropped with a clean jab, but he got back up pretty quick. Then Vera was kind of stalking him, walking him down the rest of the round, landing some nice body shots, but not being super aggressive. Then Zahabi landed some nice knees and a nice 1-2 to end off the round. So we had a good little comeback there at the end of the round, but I'd still give that round to Cheeto. Round 3, both guys were being really aggressive here. Zahabi, he knew he had to pressure, and both guys were landing a lot of big shots. Zahabi landed this nice uppercut. He also threw this nice left hook into a calf kick. And yeah, definitely a lot of nice leg kicks. Very aggressive end to the fight as well. It was pretty entertaining. And yeah, good fight. Good fight for sure. I thought Cheeto Vera won. But, judges gave it split decision to Zahabi. I don't know about that, but, it is what it is. It was a close fight. Okay, we got Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. A bit of a controversial one, but let's get into it. Early on, Mike Malott was showing a lot of speed and power in his hands, but Kevin Holland was able to catch one of Malott's kicks and dropped him with the right hand. Malott was able to get a nice sweep to get up, and they kind of scrambled back to their feet. Mike Malott ends up throwing the first low blow, which was, I think it was a teep. I could be wrong. But they continue, Kevin Holland, he brushed it off, and they kept going. Mike Malott pretty much immediately lands another low blow, but this time it's a knee up the middle. They showed the replay. It looked good to me at first, it looked at the belt, but you could see the cup move, and I think it was Malott's shins that hit his cup. And, I don't think Kevin Holland would have lied about it, he just got hit clearly just before that, and he brushed it off. He was fine. So I don't think Kevin Holland's, lying about it. Every man knows that shit hurts. Kevin Holland ended up taking the entire 5 minutes to rest, and no point was taken this time, which was surprising because they just took the point away from Jude Ober in the other fight, which was, the same thing. That was after just one low blow, but I don't know, man. These refs are definitely inconsistent. And then they continue after the break. Malott was, I know he didn't lose a point, but in my opinion, he was not showing enough aggression at all. Clearly, he'd just seen how injured Kevin Holland was. I mean, they almost didn't even continue the fight. So I don't know why you wouldn't just immediately go for the finish there. I mean, Kevin Holland, literally before the round even ended, there was 5 seconds left. He just turned his back and walked away. He just walks off. It's what the fuck? I don't know why this fight wasn't stopped. But round 2, Kevin Holland is literally gripping his balls, bro. It doesn't look like he can continue at all, man. I mean, the ref asked him multiple times, and this guy didn't say shit. He's just standing there, but Kevin Holland's a dog. He went through with it, so I gotta respect it. And then early on, Mike Malott throws this teep, and it looked low. I thought they were gonna stop the fight again. Damn, but I guess Holland was good. Mike Malott landed a big takedown, just picked up Kevin Holland and slammed him. Ended up in close guard, kind of stands up, throws some nice ground and pound shots. They end up getting into half guard with Malott on top. He goes for an arm triangle and ends up passing the guard of Kevin Holland. But Holland was able to slip out of it nicely, just rotating his body, which is pretty impressive, I have to say. But yeah, that was the end of the fight. All judges scored it 29-28 for Mike Malott. And yeah, I'd say that's fair. That's now 3 in a row for Mike Malott. It is a controversial win. I'm sure people are going to hate on him for this, but I think there's big things ahead for him. This is the biggest win of his career. And, you know, maybe he could fight Gilbert Burns next. He just coming off a loss to Michael Morales. I think that could be a good fight. And for our main event of the weekend, we had Rainier de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. Supporting Canada tonight, you know, I love to see it. He did say half his blood is Canadian, so, you know, he's pretty much one of us now. But first round, this was a great round for RDR, you know. After this, it kind of went downhill, but he got a nice takedown, a nice throw early on. Took the back of Brendan Allen, kind of went for an arm triangle, and de Ridder ended up taking him out, showing some great control and really proving himself in the jiu-jitsu department, I have to say. Some nice ground and pound shots as well. You know, I would have liked to see a bit more, but it was good, you know, a very dominant round for de Ridder. Round 2, de Ridder starts it off with a nice trip on the fence, but he ends up on bottom. And Brendan Allen was throwing some nice elbows on top. De Ridder was kind of just throwing up a bunch of arm bars, not even trying to get up. He was showing how comfortable he was on the bottom. But, you know, this isn't jiu-jitsu. This is MMA. Like, this isn't 1990 Hoist Gracie anymore. You can't just, you know, sit on the bottom and throw up arm bars and triangles. Like, especially when you guys are that sweaty. Like, it just doesn't work. It's not worth those huge elbows and punches from up top. It's just way too much damage. Round 3, de Ridder gets another takedown and takes the back of Brendan Allen. Ends up sinking in a body triangle. You know, he's hunting the rear naked choke. But Allen was defending it very well, I have to say. He was showing good hand fighting. And Allen ends up getting on top again. And RDR is just doing the same thing, man. Throwing up arm bars. And he looks so gassed by this point. You could tell he was done already. Just more big ground and pound on top from Allen. And de Ridder's, he's still not even trying to get up, man. I don't know what his strategy was here. Like, he ended up going for this inverted triangle, and it actually looked tight at first. But, you know, you guys are already sweating buckets. It's not that easy to get that kind of submission off, you know? Brendan Allen ends up slipping his head out, and RDR is just completely gassed at this point, man. He barely can get up. He's laying down, trying his best to recover, but he was pretty much done at this point, man. Round 4, Allen is looking fresh. He knows what he's got to do. He's going in for the kill. And RDR he's not looking good, to say the least, man. Brendan Allen, smart move, gets an easy takedown straight away on RDR. And de Ridder's just doing the same thing, being defensive, holding the body triangle from bottom. Allen just lands more ground and pound. Great control on top, really showcasing his jiu-jitsu. He wasn't scared to engage on the ground with RDR at all, which was impressive. And then the round ends, you know, his coaches end up throwing in the towel, which was definitely a smart move because de Ridder would not have been able to finish that fight, man. It would have just been more punishment, more elbows raining down on him. Like, you don't want to see that as a coach, man. It was a good move to throw in the towel. But yeah, de Ridder was definitely broken at this point. And I think his hype train has been derailed because people wanted this guy to get a title shot, you know? Like, people thought de Ridder was and I thought this too, you know, he might have been the only guy to be able to beat Hamzat, but after seeing this fight, it's not happening, bro. I don't think anybody can beat that guy, man. Like, come on. But the amount of people I've seen online shitting on RDR, like saying he quit, saying, like, talking all this shit, saying he's embarrassing. Bro, do you know how hard that shit is, man? Like, how much training he had to go through. Do you think he wanted to quit? No, of course, you know, his body gave out. All these people saying this are sitting in their basement eating some fucking Doritos like, this guy sucks. Like, bro, this is probably the hardest sport in the world. Like, come on, man. Some of these fans gotta chill. Brendan Allen ends up calling out Chimaev, then Dricus, and Sean Strickland. Some good call-outs. I think we could see him against Dricus, and I do think Dricus wins that fight. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. So that was the card. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. I'll be uploading consistently more UFC content from now on. So check it out if you like MMA. And I'll see you in the next one.